Guys, gals, and pals, welcome back to Paint and Talk episode 20. Right off the bat, crazy that we're at 20. Thank you guys so much for everything. Before we get into the nitty gritty of today, I want to just actually take a moment to say thank you. This series has been really fun so far. It's been really awesome. I hope that, obviously it's not it has a fairly small viewership, but you guys seem to be enjoying it, and that means a lot. So thank you. Thank you. I genuinely cannot say it enough. This has been probably the most fun I've had embarking on a content journey. And I look forward to, it's sometimes, I'll finish a paint and talk about that wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be. But something that's really awesome about this is that, there's going to be 300 of these, it's not going to be, there's going to be no shortage of paint and talks. So, it's not, to those of you that have watched so far, thank you so much. I know it's not the best series just yet, and it's going to be probably a long time before it is a really great thing. I hope you found some enjoyment out of it so far. It's only going to get better. You know what I mean? There's so much room to improve, and I think they're fairly watchable videos. Not that they're the best thing in the world, but I think they're solid things. So I can only imagine how cool this is going to be by the end of the year. I can't wait to see where we all go during this. So thank you so much. For episode 20, I gotta say, I hope you've had the best 24 hours of your life since the last time I've seen you. A lot of people are having a great year this year because of Paint and Talk, with how much I'm wishing well in these intros. So you better not take advantage of that, because it's gonna get dicey if you do. Today, I've already started here, as you can see. I want to try painting something a little bit different. So I want to continue with the style I'm doing. I like these. Well, half of it I like because it's a convenience thing almost of I'm not good enough to get super clean strokes just yet. So I do sort of enjoy doing these strokes where they're a little bit rougher. And I want to try doing it with a little bit of a darker format in this one. So I'm really into, I've discussed in the past, I want to say Paint and Talk 12, how I like complete aesthetics, complete looks, complete vibes, as I unfortunately referred to it as in that episode. And one of those aesthetics I really like is a very dark aesthetic, I think it's really, not dark as in super genuinely dark, like Dracula dark, that kind of thing. When I was younger, my favorite Lego series was the Monster Hunters Legos, and that's what the kind of darkness I like. Frankenstein, 1930s, German Impressionism. The new Nosferatu movie was a little bit freaky, but that kind of dark of Gothic castle dark, not genuinely dark. I watched the oh my god, Dahmer, I think was the Netflix series. That, I don't know, it was entertaining, but not my thing quite so much as something like this is, where it's just this aesthetic, and I think it can work well with that. It's already kind of moving along, so I'm hoping I don't have to paint another thing in the background, because I think this could be a cool, simple piece. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to paint today, and I want to talk about pet peeves today. But I think that's just an interesting discussion, a little bit of a lighter discussion. As I get into these, it's definitely that's probably the thing that's gonna morph the most about Paint and Talk by the end of these. Obviously I'll get better at painting. Hopefully I'll just get better at all this, but especially the discussion parts of it are gonna morph. So today I want to do something a little lighter, just talk about some pet peeves, because I think we all have them. I know I have them in droves. I am a pet peeve filled person. One of my pet peeves could even be how many pet peeves I have, because I'm just so particular, and it's really annoying sometimes. My biggest pet peeve, I'd say, is people who talk about themselves too much. Now I know this is ironic, because I'm on YouTube right now, making a YouTube video, but I swear on everything, if you actually spoke to me in person, I don't talk the way I do in a YouTube video. I, in fact, hate talking about myself. And my biggest pet peeve is when you're having a conversation with them and they just keep bringing it back to them. It's fine if they want to relate to something with an example. That's cool. I hate when people will genuinely just completely and utterly derail a conversation of let's talk about me now, and just start telling you a story from their life. That's probably my biggest pet peeve in life, because just talk about a topic. I think that's the big thing with me, is not so much that I don't talking about myself. I just love a good topic. Like, I would much rather talk about, and that's kind of what I do with Paint and Talk, right? Is like they're very much just like, let's talk about this topic. Sometimes it goes super deep into the topic and you come out with nothing, but I feel like it's almost like, you know, even if you dive deep into the ocean, you can't pick up a souvenir to bring back out. You still get to see the ocean, and I think that's, you know, seeing the ocean and knowing what's down there brings you one step closer to bringing something back out than otherwise, you know? Another big thing that's a huge pet peeve of mine is when people have like a lack of empathy, and this is just like, I know that's such like a duh, you know, like, but I think it's more so in a very specific regard of like, everyone has empathy for their friends or something like that. If you don't, you should really get that checked out. But I feel like a lot of people have empathy in those scenarios. But when it comes to like other people who are like, I think especially I see this a lot in New York because of crime here. We have a lot of crime in, not a lot of crime in New York, but like a lot of like things happen that are very, not like necessarily crime, but like a lot of crazy things happen where you'll see a guy like screaming at another guy on the road, and like it's not crime, but like if a cop was there, like someone would probably get detained, like that kind of thing, right? And I hate when especially this happens when people are new to the city, when they come out and they're like, that's disgusting, I can't believe these people are doing that. And they can't have any sort of empathy for like that person's situation. You know what I mean? And it's not like, I'm not saying you gotta walk up to the guy who's having, you know, going through something on the side of the road and like be his friend, but just like having a general understanding of like, that could be you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I think is so sad, especially with, you know, I mean, I'm someone from a middle class background, and all my friends who I speak to are lower middle class to, you know, upper middle class. Like that's, I think that happens a lot where we talk to people kind of in the same economic status as us. And from that, you know, like a lot of people don't understand. People that are middle class like to think they're a lot closer to being really rich than they do being really poor. And I feel like, and this has to do with my upbringing, like I think that like I kind of understand that like you are a bad day away from being the guy on the street. You're a million really great days away from being the guy who will never see the streets again in his life, you know? And I feel like having that empathy is what really, like when people don't have that, that's what bothers me more than anything. Because it's like, I don't know, just have some decency about it. Especially, you know, the homeless people in New York are so, they're so like, I guess demonized is the word. They're turned into like almost like this abstract concept of like just like the homeless, you know, like that's how they talk about them. And it's like, listen, we've all felt uncomfortable when someone who is clearly not well comes up to us on the side of the street. I'm not even gonna act like that's like not something that we've all been through, because it is, you know. Especially growing up here as a kid, I know that like the first time you see a homeless person is very like, whoa, what's that? You know, especially if you're not coming from anywhere near there. So I understand people who think like that. By the time you're like a conscious person, like when you're not conscious as in like 10, but I mean like when you're like 14, you're starting to actually understand like that the world is a thing, like kind of getting exposed to the world. You should be out of that mindset. You should fully understand that like these are people who are going through something, you know, and when people don't have the capacity to understand that, that's what's like really annoying to me. And like I say it's that a general lack of empathy is a pet peeve, but specifically this general lack of empathy, because, you know, I know so many people who are super empathetic, great people in their life and to me and to everyone else they know. But then when it comes to like they see a homeless person on the side of the road, or they hear about a robbery happening near them, they literally turn into just like, that's disgusting. That's like I've had people where like a homeless person will come up to them and they'll be like, why would they come up to me over anyone else? Like, that's weird. They should go up to the other people. And it's like, how are you an empathetic person in every other regard, but you come across this person who, you know, is going through something very obviously, and now you really can't handle, you have no empathy. It's all out the window. Like, all bets are off the second you see this. That's so strange to me. And I think I'm titling the pet peeve a lack of empathy, but I feel like it's almost like a larger phenomenon, the way that people talk about people in bad scenarios. It's really kind of, it's upsetting, you know, because it's not even, I get that from people who come visit New York a lot, you know, but then when if you talk about how they speak about it on the news, or like you would think that like there are monsters roaming the streets. One YouTube channel that really does a great job at this is Soft White Underbelly. I think they do. I've heard, I mean, people like say they're exploitative and stuff, and I understand like sometimes it does feel weird having a guy bring in a homeless person from the street and ask them about their life. Like, I understand where that idea comes from, and like even like when I first discovered them, I was like, that's a little, you know, that's a little weird, you know. So I could see how people are like, you're exploiting. But I will say, I think it's ultimately very much a net good that so many people are seeing these, you know, a lot of time it'll be people who are on Skid Row in LA, which is like a kind of like a street of, from what I understand, I've never actually been to LA. Would love to go. I think this summer I'm probably gonna go. But like a lot of people, like I think it's like basically a homeless community kind of, with a lot of addicts and stuff. And the way it's so like very profound, because when you see a homeless person, you would assume like this is someone who's been there for years, like living the life on the street. But then like if you actually speak to them like he does in these videos, you realize like, oh, these are people, like it takes 2 weeks once you get to that point of homelessness, of like living in a tent on the street, to become like an unrecognizable version of yourself, you know? And it'll really like, I feel like it just wakes you up to a lot of like, just how bad these issues are that are so often treated as like, you know, these homeless people need to buy a house. Like, and you know, people don't understand it. And it's sad they don't understand. I don't want to blame anyone for not understanding, because we're kind of conditioned to not understand. But anyways, that was a long tangent for a very small pet peeve. My other pet peeve, and this might actually come off slightly hypocritical as well, is people that like pretend they know things when they really don't. I understand that I talk about philosophy and art and I'm basically making videos online that I get just like make up out of thin air, right? So I get why like I'm kind of in that category of person, but I'm talking about like if I ask someone like a scientific question, or like a question that I know the answer to, not that I would ask someone that, like someone gets asked that question and like they pretend they know the answer because they don't want to seem dumb. I guess know-it-alls would be the thing, you know? Like that's what that annoys me like nothing else, because it's like there's nothing wrong with saying you don't know. I think this annoys me because I actually used to be one of those people. Like when I was like 12, like I thought I was so much smarter than I was, and like it definitely showed. There's no way it didn't. So I think that's why I get annoyed. This might just turn into me psychoanalyzing myself. That would be bad, but you know, I think that's why there is that concept, right? Who is it that says that? Is it Carl Jung, who says like we all have a shadow self, and what we hate is like just basically like the worst part of ourself exposed to the world? I guess a pet peeve is not exactly something you hate though, right? It's more just something that annoys you, I guess. So maybe that's not exactly what would apply here. I think that's true though, largely. I mean, I don't think there's any evidence for it, but I do think that's true, that like people hate what they are a lot of the time. Not like what they are, but like what they could be, you know? Because like, I mean, look at like how many people who are like hunting down predators end up getting exposed as one. Like that's definitely not a coincidence. There's been like 10 of those people now who are like super adamant about like, oh, we need to hunt down predators, which true, like, yeah, but like then they always get exposed as one, and it's always the loudest people about it. Same thing with like a lot of those guys who are like super, you know, family men kind of people who end up exposed as cheaters. Like it's definitely, there's something there. Like Jung was definitely onto something. I've never read the exact place where he said it, so I wonder if he had examples like that. Like I wonder if he was thinking of it in the same vein that like we are here right now, of like, oh, I noticed this guy said this thing and then he turned out to be that thing. Because when you treat it like that on a very anecdotal basis, it's super true. But yeah, I guess maybe pet peeves are kind of things that you've done in the past. Because another one of my pet peeves that I've definitely done is people that don't know when to stop talking. And once again, yes, YouTuber saying that, who talks every day for 30 minutes about literally nothing on YouTube. I completely understand that. However, I mean more so like when you're in public with someone, they don't know how to like, just like for 3 seconds, you know? I just seem like the biggest asshole right now saying that. I love my friends and I love when they talk. But every now and again, it's like, you just need silence. Especially, you know what I think it is too? When you're doing like a long, arduous activity and like they don't understand that like you're very tired. I think that's what annoys me more than anything. Because like, I don't know, you just like, oh, let me try to think of an example of this. You know, so a big one for me is road trips. Huge road trip fan, by the way. Huge road trip fan. And like, when you take a road trip above 3 hours, you cannot talk for a whole 3 hours. Like at a certain point, you gotta do something else. You know, you gotta like put on a podcast, turn up the music a little bit. Because talking for 3 hours, not only is it unrealistic, it's like unwell, you know? I can't take 3 hours of full talking. Even if it's just like a minute or two of silence in between topics, that's fine too. But like some people can really go. It's almost admirable, but it's also like we're in 2025. Start that Twitch stream, you know? Like this is not the public's responsibility anymore. This is Twitch.tv's responsibility, and you got to get on that. One, because you'll be making a lot of money. Two, though, just because like you need the outlet for this, you know? So obviously, have you seen on the painting, I'm trying to blend this head right now, and I think it's, like, it was working really well, but I feel like now it's kind of not working really well. Let me try doing a little longer of a stroke. I don't know, I feel like I kind of ruined the blend on this. I'll just go back in. What if I just go in with, like, a straight black and just kind of dot it in there? Ooh, that's gonna be rough. Let's see what we can do. Worst case, I don't have a problem making this like a black head with red undertones. That was my original plan, but then I had this idea. So this could go either way. I think the skeleton of this came out actually really cool though. Like I'm not usually the one to say that in the middle of an episode, just like be like, this is awesome. But I really like the skeleton on this. You know the other thing that really annoys me? People that don't have any sense of like spontaneity. Like I need you to like want to, like when I turn to you and I'm like, we could go do this right now, and it's 3 p.m. on a Sunday, and you're like, I gotta be up for work tomorrow, and I'm like, yeah, but like you could do this right now. People need to do that more, because like, why else are you living if you're not gonna be spontaneous about it, you know? It doesn't need to be anything crazy, just like, I don't know, just like do it, you know? Ooh, I forgot there's still black on this. Okay, so let's try dusting this off now. I need spontaneity. That's actually my favorite thing, is when like I'll just hang out with someone and we don't know what we're gonna do. That's like the best thing. And more people need to start being open to do that, because we're like, I feel like we're in such a world where it's like plan this, plan that, you know, you can't really just like also, oh my god, there's this, okay, so I watch I believe it's Mina Lay is how you pronounce her name, and she's a great video essayist, and something she was talking about that I didn't watch the video, I just looked at the thumbnail. But she said that like friendships are becoming more transactional, right? Maybe I did watch the video. I don't know. But either way, and I think that's true. And it's kind of like, not that like, I think all the people I hang out with on a regular basis are fairly like not transactional about it. I don't think so, at least, you know what I mean? Like I think I'm surrounded by generally good people. But I will say, I think that everyone's more transactional how they plan things now. And this is myself included, actually. I'm also guilty of this, where it's like I can't just like be like, I would never, like, you need to tell me where we're going, what we're doing, what the plan is, why we're going there. Like, I can no longer just like, oh, let's go hang out and we'll just like sit until we figure out something to do. Never. I think half of that is because I'm so busy now. Like, everyone's so much busier than they used to be, so I feel like we all have to value our time 10 times more. You know what I mean? If we had more free time, it'd be easy to like go, okay, I wanna, you know, we'll just kind of, we'll just go like sit in the park until we come up with something to do. But now it's like we're either doing a park day or we're figuring out something else, because I don't have time to like just sit around all day and hope something fun happens, you know? So maybe that's why that is. I should really watch the video. I feel like that'd be good. It sounds great. Something I do a lot is I will find a video, I'll see a video, just its title, and I'll be like, oh, that's so good, that's so interesting. And then think about it for a long time, and then by the end of thinking about it, be like, oh, I don't really want to watch this anymore. Like, I've discovered my own, like, I already figured this one out. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, Like, all right, yeah, I get the point. Or like sometimes it's like such an interesting video idea, or but like you'll just kind of be like, oh, true, and then keep it walking because it's like you get the gist, you know. I've made so many videos like that, like the social media is it making a boring culture one. No one should have clicked. No, I'll say it. No one should have clicked. Because just yeah, like everyone already agrees. You know what I mean? Why did I say that? I just needed a title. So that was that. But I just needed a title. But like no one should have clicked because like everyone already has their own conclusion on that. I think that's the thing mostly is like, oh my god, another pet peeve when people completely don't come to their own conclusions and just ride it out. Like they're just like, no, I agree with this thing, and like you've heard. Okay, so an example. Actually, I don't know if I should say this because that friend that said that might be watching it, or should I? Should I just do it? I don't know because like when people just like parrot something they've heard to seem like they have a conclusion, but it's like you didn't think about that. Like I saw the Instagram post you got that idea from. That makes me so mad because it's like, I don't know. I think where it really roots from is like you got so much information at your fingertips, and like you are letting a guy on Insta now tell you how to feel about things. And I guess I'm guilty of it too. So all we've really discovered today is that I am a hypocrite because I've done the same thing for sure. Where I'll like hear it. I usually do it though with like jokes because I'm too insecure about my own jokes. So I'll steal somebody else's off the internet. Oh, that works. Huh. I just put I'll show it on the camera. I put a very small dab of red on the brush. It's kind of working to... Whoa. That's cool. That's a new technique, I guess. Kind of. Is it? Is that technique or is that just painting? I guess that's the same thing. Something I've been watching lately, since I'm kind of just derailed now fully, is that the Brandon Sanderson, he's a novelist, and he's at Brigham Young University. Is that what BYU is? It's the Mormon college, and I believe it's in Utah. And he's doing these great series on how to write a novel. Like he did, oh my god, I don't know the fantasy series he did. My dad's read it. But either way, it's a great series from what I've heard. I've never read it, but it's very popular, and he's doing these great series on how to write a novel. And there's so much in there that I think is just so good. So I highly recommend that to anyone if you're trying to write a novel. I write a lot, and I'm going to be releasing it soon. Soon as in the next year or so. Because I had a series Titus. I don't know if anyone who's watching this would be familiar. But I really liked doing it, and I'd like to release it again now. The big thing that, is so tough about the YouTube stuff for me is like a lot of it can't, like YouTube's essentially an action of like dancing in a box, right? I gotta make my ideas work within the algorithm, right? So for an example, like what I'm doing right now is relatively like algorithmically averse. You know what I mean? Like this is, if you're the YouTube algorithm, you don't love this right now. So you're not going to suggest it to the most people, but it's going to find a cool core audience. It's going to be good. So like it works, even though it's not perfect. A lot of the other stuff though is just very like I have 2 videos I want to make that 2 very separate people would be interested in. So I'd love to like sell YouTube scripts because there's so much I want to make that I don't have time to. That's a big thing that I write most of my stuff way before I even think of making it a video. I just wrote it like naturally, just in my free time. So like a lot of that is very, no, I never made it with an algorithm in mind. So I feel like sometimes it's sad because I'm sitting there like, I feel almost like my YouTube channel could be 10 times as successful as it is, but I just don't play the game well enough. You know what I mean? I'm just not good enough at it to really make it what it could be. But again, that could just be cope of me not, like me thinking I'm better than I am at YouTube. That could totally be what that is. Because like I just know my thumbnails aren't that great too and stuff like that. So part of it's definitely just me not being great at it. But I do think like every now and again, like, man, like I bet I could do a little better if I tried to like be like, let's carve out a niche, let's do it this way. But that's just not, I feel like everyone's doing that now. You know what I mean? Like I watched this Colin and Samir thing about, it was like, oh, you should, how to started a YouTube channel in 2024, I think it was. I think this was last year. And they were like, mood board, pick out a niche, contact people, contact sponsors right away. Like, they made it this very corporate thing. And I think they're right that you'd be more successful if you did that way. But like, at a point, if everyone's doing it, if everyone's mood boarding and figuring out what thumbnails look like in their niche, doesn't everything just turn into a mess? You know, like shouldn't, if we're all more honest with it, won't it be way better? You know? And as long as I'm doing it as a hobby with a job off to the side, I'm going to continue doing it that way. Cause like, I don't know, I'm not interested in pandering for the sake of doing better with it, but I'm sure I will someday. I'm sure I'll like get fed up with it and just kind of do whatever is popular. Cause I feel like everyone ends up doing that. You know what I mean? It's so hard to, that's the way peer pressure works. Right? Like we're taught peer pressure is this thing where like all your friends punch you and are like, you're a loser for not drinking. But the way peer pressure actually works is you're surrounded by something long enough that you do it. And that's going to happen with art eventually. I mean, if I stay making YouTube videos for the next 3 years, there's no way I don't turn into something very normal just off the conditions of doing it for 3 years straight, you know? But then again, this is another thing I always debate is like, if I'm aware of something, will it not happen? Like, I don't know. Speaking of what I just did, that's another pet peeve when people are like delusional about something. Like I hate when, so like, know how I was just like, I'd be a really big YouTuber if I mood boarded or like whatever the bullshit I just said was. I think like some people will show me like some people will genuinely just think that like about like I feel like, oh my God, I'm about to do the thing where I'm like, I'm different about it though. But like, in a way, I do believe that like me saying, I think I could be saying that as cope kind of also makes it like, I'm aware I have a ton of areas to improve. I hate when people are genuinely just like, I'm perfect, everyone else is the issue. That's kind of what I don't like, is like someone being like, no, my videos are perfect. The algorithm just hates me. And like, that makes me madder than anything on earth. Okay, so as I come to the end of this, I kind of want to try and do a little more of a pattern. No, because I like the messiness of it. Okay, I'm going to try and make it messier on the head area. I actually really like how this painting came out. Just to do some meta commentary as I finish up here, the skeleton came out way better than I anticipated. Like, I really do think that looks cool. And the head's not bad either, you know? I think it has a messy look to it, but almost like a nice messy look. So the guy's not wearing something over his head. His head just is that, and I kind of like it that way. I think it's cool. Yeah, no, I really like how this looks. I think it's doing well at not being a good painting, because it's not. I don't think I'll be calling anything a good painting for a long time, because I don't have the skills to. But I think it does well at using the skills I have to make something that I could call a complete feeling in a painting. So for that, I actually really enjoy what I did here. But yeah, that was all. I should have done this at the very beginning of the episode, but let me know your pet peeves down in the comments below. Let me know like what you want me to talk about in these as well, because I think like I do enjoy doing the broader topics, but at a certain point, if I let myself do that too much without hearing any sort of feedback, you know, it will just turn into me talking about something super meta. Super meta, that only I would be interested in. And at the end of the day, this is something I want to deliver to you all, and I enjoy talking about anything. You should have discovered by now, I can talk all day about anything. So you guys know the drill outside of that. Let me know your pet peeves. Let me know what you want me to hear me speak about in any future episodes, and check over on the Instagram to see this painting of this skeleton guy with a balloon on his head, maybe? I think it's just a red thing. But until tomorrow, guys, talk about yourself to somebody. Go talk about yourself to somebody.